Hi, I'm Sydney Backstrom. I go to Longwood University. I play softball, and I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina.
So when did you start playing softball?
I started playing t-ball when I was 3, and I think I started playing softball a couple years after that. When I was 7, that's when I started pitching.
So in your career, you've been named all conference. What does that accomplishment mean to you and all the hard work that you put in?
It really just lets me know that the work that I'm putting in is showing that other people think that I'm doing a good job, and really that's one of the things that I'm after is I want other people to think I'm as good as I think I am.
Thinking back to last year when the pandemic first hit, began kind of prior to the season, but then obviously ramped up as the year went on. What concerns did you have or about the uncertainty and that maybe your season was going to be impacted and possibly canceled?
Yeah, so when COVID was just starting, we were on spring break in Florida, and we weren't really thinking about it while we were there, but we got back and they had kind of delayed the start of classes after spring break, and all of us were kind of like, oh yay, no school for a couple more days, we can just hang out. And then a couple days later, that's when they made the announcement that hey, the season is canceled, everyone has to go home, and all of us were like, we were not expecting that. So I think some people were like, okay, we get a break for a little bit, but then as it went on, we're like, we really want to be playing right now and not just sitting at home.
But did you learn anything about yourself, or did your team learn about the group itself going through this unprecedented time, this crisis, when the season was canceled?
Yeah, I think I learned how social our team likes to be, because it was really hard for everybody to not be around each other, just having to stay at home.
So you had this event going on, and then you experienced the coaching change in August.
Yeah.
What was that like for your team and for you, and potentially meeting your new head coach virtually?
So it was definitely crazy because we knew stuff was happening over the summer. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen. There was a lot of uncertainty, and they announced kind of late that, hey, you guys have a new head coach. And we were like, oh no, what's she gonna be like? I know a few of our girls got to sit in on interviews for the new coaching staff, but most of us were like, what is this new coach gonna be like? But I think we've adapted really well, and she's been working well with all of us this year. First time I met her in person was the first day. It was when I came back to campus for the fall semester. So it was a couple days before classes had started. And I know I met her up at the softball field, with my parents, and we were just asking a bunch of questions oh, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? And she's also a pitcher. We're like, how do you feel about mechanics wise, this kind of stuff? It was a pretty good meeting overall.
So how have you been able to develop a relationship with your coach during a pandemic? Obviously, how's it progressed from early on to now?
So it's definitely kind of weird in the beginning, because all of us it's kind of hard because at first we never really knew what she looked like because of the mask and everything, and of course our first meeting of her being virtual, it was weird because we didn't exactly know who she was, what she looked like, and then as the season's been going on, we get to learn a lot about her.
And what have you learned and applied from Dr. Brown, from her pitching pedigree? She was an All-American pitcher herself. What are some of the things that she has taught you that you've been able to apply to this season?
So she's really helped me out with getting some of my up pitches, my rise ball, my screwball, to be faster, closer to my fastball and speed. And I've been really working well with my drop ball this year, which was one of her main pitches. I've been working on being able to throw that for a strike, throw that for a swing and miss pitch, and I think it's been helping me a lot this year.
Coming into this year in season with everything from last year happening, what were some of the things that you were looking forward to the most about being able to play again?
I think I was looking forward to just being around my teammates because I really love this team. They're like a family to me. So I was looking forward to getting to play with them again and just being around them, being on the mound, having them support me and me support them.
Let's think back to April 17th. You threw a perfect game at Presbyterian, your second career no-hitter. But after going through what happened in the past and all these things with the coach, just what were some of those moments that you felt and experienced after that game?
So it was definitely really exciting. Obviously, I've never thrown a perfect game in college before. I remember in the seventh inning, I was shaking, thinking, I bet half the guys on defense right now don't even know what's happening. Because when you're on defense, you don't really think about it too much. But then as soon as I throw the last pitch, everyone in the dugout is cheering and screaming, and Coach came up and hugged me after the game. She said, "Great job." And it was just a really exciting moment.
What does that accomplishment mean to you with everything that you've gone through in your career at Longwood?
It means that I'm working and able to make the adjustments that I need to make, especially in game. Just shows that the work I'm putting in is actually helping.